But there's 4 very distinct stages of the learning curve. The first stage of the learning curve is what we call unconscious incompetence. I don't know that I don't know. In other words, maybe this is where they say ignorance is bliss, right? Hey, would you like to volunteer for this project? Sure, I'll be happy to do that. Hey, do you want to come try fishing? Sure, I'll come and do that. Hey, do you want to try to come play some golf? Yeah, it sounds like fun. Sure, I'll do that, right? Until you try to hit a golf ball, and then you want to kill yourself and kill everyone else around you. Right? Because as we go through this learning curve, we hit the next stage of the learning curve, which is something called conscious incompetence. I've just alerted myself to the fact that I don't know. We could always relate this to a piece of IKEA furniture. I think everyone has put together that IKEA furniture that you started out with the best intention and you almost got divorced by the end of it. Well, that's where you were dating someone, Mary, and that's when the relationship ended, and that's why you're single now, right? You decide to put a shelf together, right? You didn't know that you didn't know you put these things, the little screws, the little knobs and all this, and then they don't even tell you about wood glue. Your fingers are about to fall off because you're trying to rotate this little thing in here. You didn't even know that you could use things like a power drill or like a different type of screwdriver or a different type of Allen key. Yeah, I go to Home Depot, get the professional stuff, right? Right? So you're still there, you're battling away, you're like, fucking don't know how to fucking do this thing, right? Because you've just become aware that you don't know how to do it. Sometimes leadership feels that way, right? Where it's like, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I'll take the promotion, I'll take the job, I'll take the team member, I'll take on the coaching session, I'll take on the task, I'll take on the project, I'll take on the conversation. And as you enter into this thing, you go through and you think, oh, I've just realized I don't know how to do this. But as they say, right, where there's a will, there is a way. So we keep learning and we keep going. And we get to the next stage of the learning curve, which is something called conscious competence. And it is a wonderful stage because it is a stage of skill and capability and motivation and inspiration and energy and optimism. And I can hit the damn golf ball, right? I can deal with the person. I got the shelf together. It's amazing, beautiful. And I can put the vase on it, right? Put some flowers, some little tchotchkes on it, right? I've got a little bit of a design sense now going here. This is fantastic, right? The presentation, boy, I went and I did it. I stood up in front of the audience. I delivered, I spoke, I did the presentation. I was doing it. I was doing it in the moment, real time, and I was doing it well. There's that same moment where you've developed a new skill or again, you've had that light bulb go off in you. Conscious competence. You've now alerted yourself to how to do it. And you're doing it well and you're doing it magically. The failure with the learning curve and the failure with the way that our brain works is we all want to get to that stage of what we call doing it naturally. We call it unconscious, which is the final stage of the learning curve, which is unconscious competence. And this is where we use the analogy of driving a car, right? The joke about driving a car is you literally sometimes wake up in the midst of driving. You think, oh shit, I'm driving right now, right? How many times have you been driving a car and you've done everything, right? Naturally, unconsciously. How many times have you arrived at your destination and gone, whew, that was fast? I don't even remember thinking about it. How many times have you jammed your brakes on because you just knew that that's what you had to do in the moment because you had to do it unconsciously? It's everything we do. It's typing on a keyboard unconsciously. It's operating and executing through the task unconsciously. It's leading unconsciously. It's parenting unconsciously. It's being married unconsciously. It's communicating unconsciously. We're not taking the time to think about what do I have to do? Because the most effective stage that I would say by definition for leadership, for parenting, for relationships, for arguments, for disagreements, for dialogues is to be here in the stage of consciousness. What's happening right now? Because the truth about a learning curve is it never is singular, it's continual. It goes like this. Every single time you hit a stage of unconscious competence, by definition, you're starting the stage in the learning curve over again of unconscious competence. You don't know what you know and you don't know what you don't know. And it's those moments where you get back to the stage of conscious incompetence when you think, but then you get to that stage of conscious competence, you're like, I'm doing it again. And my skills gotten better. My ability to ride the motorcycle has gotten better. The ability for me to play music has gotten better. The ability for me to play the sport has gotten better. The ability for me to coach sessions and to lead and to navigate different conversations. My ability to parent has gotten better. I've gotten better and I've gotten more skilled and I'm leveling up and I'm leveling up and I'm leveling up. So the gift of understanding the learning curve is understanding when you're not thinking and giving yourself the gift of getting back to recognizing what we don't know. And that comes back to self-awareness.